Hello and welcome to Crossings. Today we are recreating this pink mother house in The Sims 4. So let's go into the speed build. Let's start with the outside, obviously. As soon as I saw this pink house, it really reminded me of the Eco Lifestyle pack that I never use. So I really wanted to make this house in The Sims 4 because I never used that pack. I rarely only use the furniture sometimes because it's very cheap. That's why I wanted to use it this time. And we are done with this structure. It was a very weird shape. So you're going to see that it's just three boxes, but the shape is kind of weird. And it has an upstairs. I tried to use pinks to match the picture, but I couldn't really find them. And the windows obviously are very low compared to the picture, and we don't have garages on the Sims 4, but we're just making do with what we have. The thing that I really like were the bushes because those are very similar to the ones in the house, and I try to keep the landscape very minimal because you'll notice that there's not a lot of landscape in the original house, so I really try to keep it minimal, just a few trees here and there and the bushes. But we are doing some kind of road, and this part I wasn't sure how it would look because I don't tend to use these paths in the Sims because weirdly enough the houses never connect to the outside. But I was just trying it out and I think I liked it. And I made a small patio. I didn't find any back pictures of the house, but I imagined it had a patio. And now we are on the outside. The bathroom is very small, but it's a full bathroom. And I decided to do the interior pink as well. And you'll see the layout is kind of weird because of the shape of the outside in the house. And I wanted to do some pink accents, but not do it pink completely. Fitting the stairs was a really big challenge, and I had to put the living room under the stairs, almost in a very tiny space. The house is kind of weird looking, so in The Sims 4, that's really hard to recreate because in The Sims 4, the houses you make have to look either very weird for the real world or just completely plain and just like a simple square. So the layout in this house was very weird. As you'll see, I had to put the kitchen and the dining room right in the entrance because that was the only place for it. And there's a little office nook right there, and there is the living room under the stairs. The couches are functional, but the shelves in the back are not. And I just wanted to have them as some accents because there was a weird gap there and it was very noticeable. And now I'm doing the kitchen. I'm using a lot of the Dream Home Decorator pack. I don't use that pack very often. I'm not a modern builder, but I think the counters look really nice, and I decided to use also a pink backsplash and some columns to mark the kitchen. And now I'm doing the parents' room, also using Dream Home Decorator to do a built-in wardrobe next to the windows. And I really liked this bedroom. Is really spacious and it has a really nice view. I built this on Newcrest, so it was empty, but whatever. And I'm just putting the mirror now. I had a hard time fitting a mirror here. They were either too big or too bright for the space, but I managed to do it. And I also wanted to fit a TV and some decorations above the dresser, and that's the parents' bedroom done. I really liked it. Now we are here in the upstairs. It's a lofted space. I wanted to fit two children here, so there's two beds. I wanted to use the bunk beds, but I decided that the single beds were best. And here I'm using the university beds. I think they fit nicely with the modern house. And this space I wanted to do it solely for the kids, so you're going to see that I include some toys, that I include the art table that I almost never use as well. We have a lot of them, but I almost never use it. And I'm going to fit one of the big toys, the bunny that we have, and I'm going to fit some child art. And this space I wanted to look very, very kid friendly. So there we have it. It's the children's bedroom. It fits two children. You can easily fit four beds in here if you decide to use the bunk beds, but I just really like the look that the individual beds have. And also, I don't love having that many children when I'm playing Sims, unless I'm doing a challenge like the 100 baby challenge or something like that. I'm not a fan of having a lot of kids. It's way too much work, so that's why I usually have two at most if I have a family. And here I'm adding a dollhouse, and it's a very frustrating object because the kids can break it and they do it all the time. But I'm adding it here. I just size it down, and don't worry, it's still functional if you size it down. And now we're just adding the last details. I wanted to do the wallpaper, and I wanted to use a different kind of lamp. I wanted to have a little bit of fun in here, but I didn't want it to be that extravagant because yes, it's for children, but I wanted to keep the look of the rest of the house. So I'm using this big pink lamp, and I'm using this circle wallpaper as an accent wall, and I'm adding some blue wallpaper to the rest of the walls. Here I'm just adding that accent wall, and then we'll be adding some more details throughout the house. I'm going to be adding some different lamps and some plants and all of that different stuff. This house was really tough because when you're trying to pass off a real building as a Sims building, you're trying to make it look like in the picture, but the thing is that if you want it to look like in the picture, it's really hard to do it in the Sims because you have to be very specific with your placement on the Sims, because Sims are sometimes kind of dumb and they don't walk if there is even a tiny little bit thing in their way. So you have to do the layout and you have to see how to arrange everything in a way that your Sims will be able to walk. And since the house had different levels, the house I was inspired in, I had to use platforms, and that meant that I also had to use stairs because they were taller platforms. So the stairs really took a chunk of the house. You'll see that we have stairs going into the main bedroom, and we also have to use stairs to go from the kitchen to the living room, and it's a really good look, but it does take a lot of space because I wanted to add some plants and stuff. But if you do that in that place, then your Sims won't be able to walk to the living room or to the bedroom or things like that. And here I'm just adding a little bit of clutter in the kitchen, and then we'll be moving on to the backyard. And here we are in the backyard. I wanted to make a little patio and also a playing area for the kids. And here in the backyard we are also keeping the landscape very minimal. I just use some trees outside of the fence, and that's it, because the house was very modern and I didn't feel like that type of house should have a lot of landscape in that area. So we're just using the trees outside, the ones you get in debug that are in the actual world of Newcrest. I built this on Newcrest, and I'm adding some monkey bars and some swings, and the monkey bars are pink to keep the pink theme going. And I'm going to be adding a built-in kitchen. I'm going to add this grill, and I'm going to add some cabinets to make a built-in kitchen. I think I also no, I use the base game ones, and this I really like this. It's functional, but it makes it feel built in. It makes it feel a little bit more fancy, like I imagine the family living in this house. And I'm also be adding a picnic table, and I'm going to be adding some planters and a chess table, because you need a chess table in every Sims build. If you don't know what else to put in a building, you can just add a chess table and done. It looks like any other Sims build. So I didn't know what to add in that little space, so I decided, chess table. It's always useful. It gets their logic skill up, and it gets their fun up, and it's very useful for many skills and careers, and that's why I wanted to use one. And you'll see the patio is very small. I didn't want it to be huge or very fancy or anything, but that's it. That's the patio done. And I'm going to be adding the last details in the house. Like I wanted to add this bike from Eco Lifestyle, and also the mailbox, and I'll just be doing the tour now. And here is a quick look at the outside. I think I really managed to make it look like the house in the picture. I'll be pulling it up at the end. But this is the outside, just the trees I was talking about, and I added some terrain paint. And when you enter, of course, you have the kitchen, and you have the dining table that we know the Sims are never going to use, but it's still nice to have one. And we have that little office nook. And besides the office space, we have the living room. It kind of has to be shoved under the stairs. There was nowhere else to put it, but I think it looks cute. And in front of the living room, we have the full bathroom with 2 sinks. And besides the bathroom, we have the parents' bedroom, which is really spacious, and I really liked it. And then moving on, we are going to go upstairs so you can see the finished lofted area for the kids. I think it looks really nice, and the space is very useful and helpful. And now we are in the backyard with the chess table I was talking about, and the built-in kitchen, and the toys for the kids. And now we're just going to have a side by side of the house. As you can see, I think I managed to pull it off with what we have in the Sims. I added a car that we have in debug. Of course, we can't use it, but I think it makes the house looks nice and more complete. And I tried to make do with what we have with the pink wallpapers. They weren't a lot, and there weren't wallpapers in that specific color, I think. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my first build in The Sims, and I hope I see you on the next video, when I'll be posting even more Animal Crossings and more Sims 4. Bye!